Good morning and welcome back to Brodeur. We are wrapping up week 5 today. It is Friday, which means after this assignment for today, we need to turn in week 5 assignments. So make sure that you get all of week 5 in today, which also means that we have week 6 coming up next week, which is your final week of assignments, which is awesome and good news. But let's talk week 5. Let's talk about how we can wrap things up. So right now we are currently in our new and final unit for transformations. We did translation yesterday. Today we're going to do some reflection. So let's take a look at what we have to do for reflection, what our learning intention is. Our learning intention for today is students can reflect a two-dimensional figure on a graph across the x and y axis, and also understand that the original two-dimensional figure is congruent to the second reflected figure. So let's take a look over here. Let's see what exactly we're talking about. So we have two examples for today. We have reflection across the x-axis and reflection across the y-axis. So this one right here is an example problem already on your packet. This one is actually one of the questions that you need to complete. So that will be good, but we'll do both of these together. We are going to start right here with the reflection across the x-axis. The first thing you want to do is you want to highlight where you are reflecting across. Clearly on this one, we are reflecting across the x-axis. So I'm just going to highlight the x-axis right there. And the reason I highlight where I'm reflecting is so, one, I don't forget where I'm reflecting, and also on our next lesson we are going to expand on reflection, and it might not just be simply on the x or the y axis, and that's another reason you may want to highlight where you're reflecting so you don't get confused. Second, what exactly does reflection entail? It's pretty much what you think of. For example, I have this mirror right here, and just like how if I put like my finger right there in the mirror, my finger is reflecting in the mirror. Now, if I put my finger right there at the center of the mirror, clearly it looks like not only my finger, but the finger and the mirrored reflection are both touching. Now, if I move my finger just a little bit away, it looks like they are about the same distance away from that mirror. I want you to think of the x-axis right here as kind of our mirror. And so, in this case, what we're going to do, and let me get different color, let's say green, we're going to reflect this triangle across our x-axis just as if it was my finger reflecting in the mirror. Now, an easy way to approach reflection is just pick a point to start with. I'm going to just start with A, and what you want to do is clearly A is located above the -2 on our x-axis where we're reflecting, and I'm just going to see how far is A above this -2. It is clearly 1 above. Now, because this is 1 above here, when I'm going to go down to my x-axis, and now I'm going to count 1 unit the opposite way. Put a little point, and that is where A prime is going to be located. Now, similarly, let's take a look at B right here. B is located above the 1 on the x-axis. Now we want to see how many units it is above the x-axis. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 units above. So now I'm going to go back to my x-axis and count 1, 2, 3, 4 units below. Again, put B prime because this is my image, my final answer. This is our pre-image, so we want to distinguish between the two. And last, we have C. C is currently located above 3 on the x-axis, and that is 2 units above 3. So we're going to go back and go 2 units the other way and put C prime. We got all of our points situated. They're all looking good. All I got to do now, connect the dots. Boom. And that's it. So we've completed this one, a reflection across the x-axis. All is looking good. An easy way to double check is everything the same distance. What does that mean? Is my C prime the same distance away from the x-axis as my C? Yes, they are both 2. Same for B, they are both 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and my A prime, they are both 1 away. So that's a good way to double check. Now, let's take a look at the reflection across the y-axis. This is, again, one of the questions you have to complete for credit. So we'll work this together. That will give you one less question you would have to do. So reflection across the y-axis, similarly to what we did with the previous one, we're just going to highlight where we are reflecting. We're going to reflect across the y-axis. So I'm going to highlight the y-axis red. And now we're just going to see how far everything is from the y-axis. So I'm going to start with S. S is currently 1, 2, 3, 4 units away. So now I'm going to go 4 units the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put my S prime. Now A, we're going to measure that one. That's 1, 2, 3 units away from my y-axis. So now we're going to go 3 units. 1, 2, 3 to the left. A prime. Again, notice how I'm not just putting points, I'm putting the points with the letter and also the prime, so that way I don't forget which point is which letter, but also the prime to say this is different than, well, not necessarily different, but this is the reflected image from our original. Remember, pre-image and then your image. J is 1, 2, 3, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4 the other way. And then T is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. All right. Again, I got my variables, my letters. I got my primes right there. All I got to do, connect the dots. And again, they should be reflected. Notice A was kind of on the inside or closest to the y-axis, and it also is on the other side, so it's a clear mirrored image, a reflection across the y-axis. Now the last thing I need to mention is I know you have one question on there that asks you to write a rule for a reflection. All you're going to do with that, unlike translation where you had a particular notation that you needed to do, you don't really have that for this. So what you're going to do here is you may just have like an image where it shows you the pre-image and the image, and it says write the rule for reflection. Well, all I'm looking for is where does it look like it's reflected across. So if I looked at the one we just did, it looks like it's reflected across the y-axis. So all I would do is say it's reflected or a reflection across the y-axis. That's all you're going to write. I just wanted to spend more time in this video showing you how to reflect across the x or how to reflect across the y-axis. And hopefully that will help you throughout these problems. So, all in all, I hope this kind of helps look at the whole picture with reflection. Also, I want you to notice that at these images, if we go back to the whiteboard, they are all congruent images. When I reflect across the x or reflect across the y-axis, they were all congruent. I didn't make this image bigger or smaller, we just reflected it. So just keep that in mind as well. So again, if you have any questions, just let us know. Send emails to your teachers. We'll be glad to help you. But again, turn in week 5 assignment the moment you finish this, so that way you can get a grade in and you'll only have week 6 left. So until next time, Brodeur out. Peace.